Did you know that Soul Train, the iconic show that shaped a whole generation, was permanently canceled due to a single unforgettable scene? This horrific moment changed television history and upset fans. Here we'll tell you about the infamous performance that led to Soul Train's demise and the ensuing chaos behind the scenes. Every Saturday morning for an hour, Soul Train, a 35-year-old tradition, introduced black youth culture to America. Soul Train was the place to go to debut new dance and music styles, as well as hair and fashion trends, and was dubbed the hippest trip in America. Beginning in the 1970s and continuing into the 1980s, it provided black musicians with an essential platform for promotion. It had drawn national attention to a number of activities by the 1990s. It served as a medium for popular culture, teaching the masses about dance, dress, and music. Beneath its captivating music, glittering lights, and magical spirit, Soul Train was revolutionary in its depiction of black identity. Despite the advancements made by the civil rights movement, economic hardship continued during the time of its birth, which was a time of immense turbulence and suffering. Its foundations were in response to racist media and, more broadly, racist culture. Soul Train's message, which was delivered in a cheerful and seemingly casual way, was centered on black empowerment. The adored Soul Train performer Lysa Scar described how his generation was defined by the music and dancing. Being of mixed black and Mexican heritage, I spent my formative years on the streets of Inglewood, where Saturday mornings meant gathering with my people and celebrating our own dancing styles, eras, and fads. Don Cornelius served as Soul Train's official host and executive producer. Cornelius was annoyed by the media's depiction of African Americans, as well as the over-reporting of black crime and the under-reporting of police brutality. Cornelius came up with the idea for his own TV program after being influenced by American Bandstand, an hour-long segment of the ABC network program that showed teenagers dancing to the newest songs. He wanted to see African Americans portrayed in the media in a way that was genuine and uplifting. Cornelius hunted for talent, hoping to pirouette on screen while local teens lined up outside the network building every day after school. In addition to addressing the stark underrepresentation, Black Chicago was given access to a show that celebrated the range of black talent. Welcome on board. You're on time for a wonderful Soul Train ride. With a bold and vibrant new set that complemented its new setting and catchphrase, the show had its national debut in 1971. Soon, instead of the other way around, musicians were asking to appear on Soul Train. Stevie Wonder and Aretha Franklin were among the well-known performers during its heyday. Wonder even composed a brand new song specifically for the event. The Jackson 5's repeated performances increased the show's star power. Don Cornelius realized that live performances were what truly kept the show engaging and enjoyable, even though at first the artists lip-synced their hits during tapings. As a result, amazing things happened, such when Barry White led a 40-piece orchestra or when Al Green performed a stunning concert despite having a damaged arm. James Brown even joined the dancers on the floor while wearing a stunning purple costume. Cornelius showed great generosity to non-black artists in the years that followed, enabling soulful performers like Elton John and David Bowie to take the stage. The effect of Soul Train. Many dancers and performers were profoundly impacted by Soul Train. According to renowned dancer Jeffrey Daniel, Soul Train was very intimate for me. It was the catalyst for my entire career, but more significantly, it embodied the spirit of the youth of Black America. Cornelius made sure the show encouraged black talent both on and off camera. He put together a group of black production specialists to ensure that people of color have access to opportunities. The person in charge of booking talent, Pam Brown, looked for dancers in Los Angeles recreation centers who had unique styles. Cornelius was pleased and occasionally amazed by the bold and creative dance forms that came from California. He quickly put together a company of gifted dancers who were well known for their uniqueness and flair. Soul dancers have a difficult life despite their dazzling appearance. A complete month's worth of episodes were taped in a single weekend, with 2 shows on Saturday and 2 more on Sunday. They required numerous wardrobe changes, a lot of energy and endurance. Dancers were not compensated until they performed with an artist, which seemed to go against the show's mission to support black talent. One iconic and unforgettable feature of the program was the Soul Train line. A new element was added during its 2nd season, with dancers forming a channel in the middle of the stage in 2 rows. Following that, each dancer performed for the crowd. Since each dancer had their own turn in the spotlight, the Soul Train line became the showstopper. This style gave each dancer the opportunity to shine. Unlike group dances, when there was intense competition for camera time. To draw attention, the dancers employed acrobatic techniques, props, and a distinctive style. This memorable segment of the program evolved into a separate cultural phenomenon rather than merely a routine. The legacy of Soul Train, one of Soul Train's lasting effects, is its influence on dancing. The show produced new fashions rather than merely showcasing existing ones. The popping, locking, ticking, and whacking dancing moves originated with Soul Train. Hip-hop, breakdancing, and voguing were later influenced by these movements. Soul Train dancer Jeffrey Daniel taught Michael Jackson the backslide, which was subsequently nicknamed the moonwalk. Soul Train even introduced the robot dance, which later became a signature move for Michael Jackson. Soul Train was where it all started. Movies that shaped whole pop cultural eras. Dress and image like its routines. Soul Train's attire was famous. The dancers were immediately identifiable due to their bold patterns, vibrant colors, and avant-garde techniques. Medallions, platform shoes, and bell-bottoms were made popular by Soul Train. The show's lively, expressive, and laid-back style mirrored the time period. Black performers were vilified or ostracized in the media prior to Soul Train. By portraying young black people in a vibrant and positive light, the show altered the narrative. Social and cultural impact. Despite not taking a political stance, Soul Train captured the triumphs and hardships of its era. Battles over inner-city poverty and school segregation characterized the 1970 SN. Soul Train's positive and proud attitude was a stark contrast to this. Black historical figures like Phyllis Wheatley and Harriet Tubman were featured in segments like the Soul Train Scramble Board. The show promoted the idea of natural black beauty through its partnership with Afrosheen, a black-owned hair care company. Soul Train promoted natural hairstyles and featured advertisements for Afrosheen, reinforcing the notion that black people are attractive. An enduring legacy, Soul Train was full with memorable moments. From Al Green's amazing live set to the Jackson 5's famous rendition of Dancing Machine. Its contributions to mainstream America in the areas of dancing, fashion, and culture are just as significant as its musical legacy. However, what actually transpired during that last, startling moment that resulted in its cancellation, we'll get into that story next. The audience was enthralled. Because of this kind of performance, Soul Train was categorized as an experience rather than merely a music presentation. Soul Train also made history by inviting white performers to perform, which was uncommon at the time. One such example was David Bowie's performance on November 4, 1975, Unfortunately, Bowie hadn't memorized the lyrics since his nervousness overcame him. His performances have to be re-recorded several times because they were so harsh. Bowie's involvement symbolized the show's growing influence and willingness to question social norms despite its difficult beginnings. Legend has it that Bowie was reminded by Don Cornelius in an open and sincere conversation offstage that Soul Train would not stand for mediocrity. However, Soul Train eventually came to an end, as all good things must. Many admirers were disappointed by its final farewell, while others wondered why it had stopped. As Soul Train entered the 1980s and beyond, the music industry started to alter. The show's more conservative audience found the performances that accompanied hip-hop's rapid rise to prominence uncomfortable. One such event was the now famous Milli Vanilli concert in 1989. A few months later, it was revealed that the duo had not really performed any original music, despite Don Cornelius introducing them as the first major European rap artists. They became famous by lip-syncing. Soul Train's reputation took a serious hit as a result of this dispute. David Bowie's performance in 1975 was another event that caused more criticism. The eccentric, androgynous London singer needed many tries to finish his show, stumbling through his vocals and looking restless and drunk. Bowie's lack of preparation reportedly annoyed perfectionist Don Cornelius behind the scenes. The show had its share of issues even behind the scenes. Tensions between producers and performers increased, as a number of dancers felt their effort was underappreciated. Despite being the center of attention, creating iconic movements and establishing fashion trends, many Soul Train dancers received inadequate compensation. A few important cast members quit the show as tensions increased. As the music industry changed, Soul Train also had trouble luring A-list performers. As the hip-hop audience grew, rival networks like BET and MTV gained popularity by providing more modern venues. One significant barrier was the show's inability to change with the times. Pop culture, music, and fashion all underwent a cultural transformation. Soul Train was no longer seen as groundbreaking by the middle of the 1980s. Younger audiences preferred shows that incorporated urban culture and hip-hop. Don Cornelius, the longtime creative director of Soul Train, found it difficult to connect with the new musical fads. Hip-hop was infamously excluded from the program because he didn't get it. The show lost the support of its previous audience as a result. Because they preferred shows that felt more like their own lives, viewers stopped tuning in. Longtime viewers reminisced about Soul Train as these issues mounted, but they stopped watching regularly. Soul Train lost the allure that had once made it a Saturday morning ritual as younger audiences gravitated toward edgier performances. Don Cornelius resigned as host in 1993 after a difficult decision: love, peace, and soul. It was an appropriate farewell, his last sign-off. He had become more than just a host. He was the program's vitality. Although his successors tried their best, no one was able to fill the vacuum created by his departure. More importantly, Cornelius had a vision for Soul Train, and his departure revealed a bigger issue. The program failed without him. The initial excitement began to wane. By the middle of the 2000s, it was evident that Soul Train was no longer competitive due to the crew's mounting backstage challenges. In 2006, the television program came to a quiet conclusion after 35 years. Devastated viewers were left wondering how such a legendary show had disappeared after its final episode. Soul Train was a source of inspiration and happiness for millions of people from its debut in 1970 until its 2006 end. It has left an unmatched legacy and is still regarded as one of the most important television programs ever. Many viewers think it's the best program ever. Soul Train is still praised by fans. One admirer posted on the internet, "It was more than a show, it was a way of life." Another admirer commented, "I felt a sense of patriotism when listening to Soul Train. Everyone loved our music and our skills, and it was the one place where we could truly shine." These poignant remarks demonstrate the extent of the show's influence. The unity that Soul Train promoted was its greatest accomplishment. Superstars like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, and Stevie Wonder weren't the only ones that performed. It was all about the show's enthusiasm and the happiness it gave its viewers. Everyone had the impression that they were a part of something significant and big. People of various backgrounds could let loose and show off their best routines on the Soul Train dance floor, which came to represent inclusion. No other show has been able to replicate Soul Train's level of success. It was about more than just dancing and performances. Its themes of joy, pride, and unity struck a deep chord, particularly in a time when there were few opportunities for Black talent to be showcased. "There will never be a Soul Train 2," a dedicated admirer said. "There has never been a show like it before. The passing of Soul Train created a vacuum in music and television. All subsequent efforts to replicate its enchantment have been unsuccessful. Why? Because Soul Train was different. It is impossible to replace Don Cornelius's captivating personality, innovative performances, and unbridled energy and enthusiasm. Soul Train's influence may still be seen everywhere today. Its legacy endures in everything from contemporary music videos to the newest dancing fads on TikTok. The show's lasting influence is demonstrated by the celebrities it created, the trends it sparked, and the widespread admiration of Black culture. Soul Train will live on in the memories of those fortunate enough to have been a part of it. A lingering sense of nostalgia for the event, the performers, and that unique era will never go away. According to one fan, Soul Train was a blessing to society. Its effects will endure forever. Because no other program was ever the same, Soul Train will always be treasured by its fans.